Okay, good morning, everyone. How are we today? Hi, good morning. Am I audible? Good morning, Isha. Good morning, Jayprakash. Great to see you, Poonam. Okay, great. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? I'm good. Thank you for asking, Isha. So how are we today? It's a Saturday morning. Weekend is here. Poonam says I'm in the pink. Awesome to hear that. Okay, where are you guys logging in from? Okay. Taranum is new to the class. Welcome, Taranum. Poonam is from Bhureshwar. Great. Priya is logging in from work. Delhi? Jammu, wow. It must be pleasant here. It's really, really hot here. I hope Jammu is pleasant. Prakash is from Tamil Nadu. Haryana, wow. Tamanandi. So we have people from all over. Bangalore, okay. Awesome. People are still logging in. Chandigarh, Hubli. I'm good, Poonam. Thank you for asking. Himachal Pradesh. Awesome. So nice to see people from all over. Okay, people are still logging in. We'll just give them a couple of minutes to join us. Mount Abu, Rajasthan. Okay, great. So we'll be using the chat box. I see a couple of people typing in the question and answer section. So that's okay. You needn't type in your questions there. I'll attend to all your questions in the chat box. Okay, so that'll be like one place where all of us can interact. Yes, use the chat box. I have a message from Praveen, and there's someone called Top 10. Wow, I'm good, Top 10. If you could use the chat box, please. And if you could just rename yourself, it feels very odd to address someone by the name Top 10. Okay, then, without much ado, let's get started with today's lecture, today's session, and we are going to talk about grammar. Okay, and my slide here says we will talk about IELTS grammar in 60 minutes. Now, that sounds like a far reach, right? How do we talk about the entire grammar, which can be so very big, can be, hours and hours long of session? How do we do that in 60 minutes? So what I have got for you today here is, instead of teaching you something, I'm letting you know what students do wrong in IELTS. So majority of us are well prepared, right? We prepare all our skills. If we are, planning for speaking, we do well with fluency because we practice a lot. If you're doing our writing, so we have our task achievement and CC and everything in place, but there are small certain slips which happen, and that cost you bans very severely. So we are looking at the common mistakes which are made at the advanced level, okay? Like if I'm looking at band 7 and 8, and I make these small mistakes, they'll like pull me down by almost a band. So we are going to specifically look at those common mistakes today. Okay, how do I know they are common mistakes? So let me tell you something about myself. I am an experienced trainer with over 5 years of experience in teaching students, training them for various English related exams. So that's IELTS, that's PTE, even BEC1, which is a business English program. And to teach all this, I did undergo certification. So I did my certification, my training from Cambridge University. So all that just goes to say that you're in safe hands and I know what to do. Okay, so let's not waste time and get started. So what happens in grammar is we don't make very huge mistakes. They're the small little things that cause us our marks. So the first one is singular or plural. Where to use that S and when not to use it. Do we face problem there? Can I have a quick yes in the chat box from the people who are confused? Should I use a yes or I shouldn't use a yes? Where do I put that yes? Okay, Rupinder, Meena, Yash, Kajal. Okay, a lot many yes coming in. So that small s is a big problem. And tell you what, the Cambridge examiners are very serious about it. So it might be like, a small word for a small letter. It's kind of insignificant. We're writing a 250-word essay, and why is the examiner bothered about a small s? But fortunately, unfortunately, he is, So we'll see where to put them. Then there is something called determiners. Don't get bogged down by the big word. Don't stress out. Determine is nothing but the small words we use. We use much. We use many, right? We use too much. We use little. Sometimes we say a little. Is that confusing? When do I say too much? When do I say only much? When do I say many? Should I say many water? Should I say much water? Okay, so these kind of confusions. Very small issues, but again, they cost us bands. And yeah, all-time issue is subject-verb agreement. Okay, there's an agreement between the subject and a verb. We'll look at the agreement very closely as to what is supposed to happen. Okay, so that is what we're doing today. Now, first thing first, we all know this, right? So nouns can be countable or they can be uncountable. Okay, countable, very simple. Anything and everything you see around you is a noun. And if you can count it on your fingers, right? I can say one dog or two houses or three friends, right? Anything which can be done on your fingertips is called a countable noun. What about uncountable? So if I talk about air or let air be, if I talk about rice or water or coffee or tea, what about them? Milk, yeah. Can I count them? Can I count these things? I cannot count them, but we can measure them, right? So we use quantifiers. Yes, they are liquid. So, we can talk in liters. I can talk about 2 liters of milk or, drinking 3 liters of water every day. So we can quantify them. We can measure them. We're still using some numbers. So this is something all of us basically know. The problem starts with, okay, there's a quick quiz coming up. You need to choose the right options. So if you read the sentences very carefully, what about the S? So the first one says, international aid is very important after natural disasters. The second one says, international aids are very important after natural disaster. Is it 1A or 1B? I have many answers pouring in. Wow. There's a 50-50 split in the class. I have equal numbers of A's and B's. Suman is smart. Both. No, both cannot be correct, Suman. You have to choose one. Okay. So the correct answer here is, okay, let me get the tool in. Here we are. The correct answer here is A. Okay. Why did that happen? Why is the correct answer? Yes, so all of you who got A as the answer, good. So the word here, the noun here that we were looking at was aid. Okay. And aid is basically a word which is it countable? Is it uncountable? So aid is uncountable. We cannot make it aids. That would be wrong. Okay, what about the second one? Quickly, 2. What is it? 2A or 2B? Okay. Again, I have mixed responses. I have A, B coming in. Okay. Okay, quite a few B, yes. Okay, you got it correct, yes. So when we look at these words, customs and behaviors here is correct. We do not put an S there. So the correct answer would be 2 is B. Okay. We cannot have behaviors. The S you see in the first sentence, this S is wrong. Okay. I hope you understand what is happening here, right? So nouns can be confusing. And let me give you a quick list of most of the, commonly used countable and uncountable nouns. So here we are. These are some of the words. Again, there are very few. So do we use these words? Do you think these are the words we would be using in our IELTS? Okay. So they do not have a plural form. These do not have a plural form. No equipments. We'll just come to those words which can be used. Okay, very good question there, Isha. Just hold on to that thought. I'll address that as well. So these do not have plural form. I cannot say aids. I cannot say behaviors. I cannot say clothings. I cannot say informations. I cannot say luggage. I can count, like, you need to just change the form. If I'm talking about luggage, that would be the entire thing I'm traveling with. Helps, yes, Rupinder, we do use help. I'll just come to that, hold on to the thought. So luggage can be the number of bags. You can count the number of bags. Okay, you can see I'm traveling with 3 bags, but you cannot say I have 3 luggage. Okay, softwares, no, we cannot use software. That is the small error we make, child. Rupinder said helps, but now help has 2 meanings. Okay, so when we're using it as a verb, when you're helping someone, so you can say, John helps me with my homework. Now that is where it uses a verb, and that is where it becomes, with an S. But as a noun, we cannot. Okay. So now softwares is incorrect. Furniture, yes. Again, it's a group of things. It's treated as a group. You cannot say I have 5 furniture in my home. That is wrong. Okay. You can count the number of chairs though. You can say I have 6 chairs. Okay. Plural means more than one. Tushar, single is one, that is singular. So that is 1 boy. But you have many boys, that would be 5 boys. Okay. So we put an S there. Is it making sense? Tushar, Isha, got it? So plural is more than one. Okay. Abstract noun. Okay, that's an interesting question. Do not go there. It's okay. Abstract is something we cannot count, we cannot measure, but it exists. So if I say pen, what about pen? Pen is something, right? Can I count pen? I have 2 kg pen in my leg. No, I cannot, right? All I can say is I have a lot of pain, right? Or happiness or sadness, those kind of things which are feeling there are abstract noun. Beauty. So I cannot say, I cannot count beauty, but I can say there's a lot of beauty in the forests, in the mountains. Okay, so those are abstract nouns. Basically, we do not put S over there. Those are the words. Now, let's do a quick exercise to understand if we understood what we are supposed to do. So you have the list of words here. Just take a snapshot if you think that you'll miss out or you won't remember. Again, that's a very small list we have here. There are several nouns all across the world. But this is just a quick session here. Okay, so quick exercise for you. Quick, ready with the chat box. What do I choose here? In developing country or countries, malaria still kills millions each year. Which one is correct? Countries. Awesome, right. So we can count countries, right? We can count the number of countries in the world on this continent. So definitely it would be countries. Awesome. And I have all correct answers. Wow, good to see that. Okay, so that would be countries. Selena, makes sense? I can count the number of countries, right? So it would be plural. Okay, what about this one? She has 20 years of experiences or experience. Experience, awesome. So again, we cannot quantify the experience. Okay, I've quantified the number of years, which is 20 years, and that is why I put a S there. Okay, if you can see, I did use an S, but I used it here with the 20. But I cannot count experiences. So that would be singular, experience. Okay, that's countries, experience. Moving to the next one. Okay, the company sell specialist. The company sells, it should be sell, sorry, there's a typo there. Okay, we just spoke that there is no softwares. Okay, so that's an error there. It isn't softwares. It has to be software. Okay, and as I said, there was an S missing here. So there should be an S here, basically. That's a typo. Software. Okay, we cannot make it plural. We cannot say informations. Similarly, it cannot be softwares. It is making specialist software. Okay, moving to the next one. These patients need injections several times a day or times a day. The answer for 3, it's marked there, software. Several times. What gave me the hint? The word several. When I say several, it means a lot of, right? So several times. Awesome. Okay, the next one. We are getting good at it. The shop sells children's clothing or clothing. We just saw in the previous slide. Awesome, good. I'm glad you remember. So clothings cannot be plural. It is clothing. That's the correct answer. Moving to the next one. How often do you use public transports or transport? That's a very common IELTS question, by the way, right? In speaking, you might come across this question. Awesome. So it is transport. It cannot be transports because we're talking about a group, and that would include everything, right? The bus, the tram, the metro, everything is a part of the transport. Okay, I can still see some people are typing in the question and answer section. Can I request you to please type it? Type all your answers, all your questions in the chat box, please. Okay, so there is Surinder, Shikhar Reddy, Praveen. Can we please use the chat box? That would be easier. Okay, awesome. So the correct answer is transport. Okay. So someone asked me a while back that, just the example we just saw about time. Now time is uncountable, right? But we just said several times a day in the previous slide. Okay, why did that happen? So there are few nouns which would change the context. Like, for example, we have the word here which says coffee. We use the word coffee, right? But, good morning, Bindu, right? So we use the word coffee, and sometimes, if you've heard, we say, can I have a coffee, please? What did I do? Can I have a coffee, please? Do you say that? So when you use a is countable, right? Yes. So these words, some of these words, they can assume countable or uncountable form, depending on the context, how we are using it. Okay. So what about fire? I cannot count fire. Can we count fire? No. But we can say there was a fire in the neighborhood last night. Can we say that? There was a fire in the neighborhood last night. So I'm using a fire. Okay, so here are some examples. We just talk about experience. So he has no work experience, which means we're talking about his skill or knowledge, and obviously knowledge or skill we cannot count. But if we say going to a hospital is often a stressful experience. Now what have I done? I've quantified it. Okay, so I'm talking about one specific information. Yes, Faraz, awesome. So the word I used here was a, and a is letting me know that I'm counting the experience. Awesome, Rosie. Okay, I hope it's making sense now. So the S, the small s, which kind of troubles us, we are looking at it, how to use it. Now, what about these questions? How much time do you spend commuting? Okay. Bindu is asking about how to use should, could. Okay, these are modal verbs actually, Bindu. So we're not covering that topic today in this session, but you can always refer to our grammar. So we have a grammar session in the morning and in the evening. That is where you'll come across all the modules. Okay. Yeah. So talking about time, if you can see, it is how much time, but I have an S here. How many times? Can you see the difference? Okay. So much time, because I'm talking about how much time you spend commuting. But when I say how many times, which is how many occasions, the number of occasions, the number of events, how many times do you go there each week? Getting the difference? I can count how many times I go. But much time is, it will become uncountable. We'll say in the number of hours or minutes, you know, how much time you are spending. A lot, many hours, just a few minutes. Okay. So if you see, there's a note at the bottom of the slide which says the determinants. They decide, you know, they are decided according to the noun. So I said, don't get, you know, panicked about all these words that we are hearing, determiners, and we don't need to know the technical bits of grammar. Do not worry. They do not directly test your grammar, but as I said, they'll really matter. So do you have a confusion between, you know, when to use much, when to use more, when to say many, or do I say few? So basically, these are our determinants. They are very small, tiny words again. If you see, as I said, in IELTS, we don't end up, you know, we don't end up making very big mistakes or, you know, disastrous things. What happens is only these small things. Otherwise, we all know we need to write an essay, right? It's about global warming. I know what to write about global warming. I will not, you know, end up writing about education system. So that's not the disaster that happens. I'm writing my ideas. I have my ideas. But what happens is I'm writing my sentences, and then these small words, and the. Okay, small words, we don't really care for them. The examiner does. Or this, that, these. Or is it it's or it's? Or is it a few or little? Or do I say too much or do I say too many? So these are determiners. You don't have to panic and, you know, go by the names of article, demonstratives, quantifiers. Don't panic. You don't have to memorize any of them. This is just for your reference. What I need you to focus is on the words which are in black. Okay? And the. When do we use or and? We use it for a single thing when you're talking about one thing. The can also be used for single thing, but it can be used for plurals also. Okay, it can be the boys, but it can never be a boys. If it's an a, it has to be singular. So we know all this, right? We already know all this. So moving ahead, we'll quickly look at some rules. So, you know, there's so many words. I've tried to make it in compact form and bring it down to 3 rules only. So when we're talking about countable nouns, now we are clear, right? What are countables? We can count it on our fingertips. We use the determiners a, all, and, another, every, both. Determiners are nothing special, Tushar. They are just words which will go in front of a noun to describe the noun. Simple as that. Okay. Don't get bogged down by the big names. What they are, what is a determiner? Determiner is and, all. Okay, each, both, either, few. They go with countable nouns. So what do we use with uncountable noun? We use little, more, some, much. Okay, so if you can see the difference, do I say I have few books, or do I say I have little books? Which one is correct? Few. Pratima is saying few. Yes. Awesome. But so do I say there are few children or there are little children? There are few children or there are little children? Okay, let me type it for you. So, sorry, this. For their little children. Which one is correct? Second one is correct. Few children's, Anshul, we cannot have few children's because children itself is plural. Okay, so we'll never use an S with something which is already plural. Some are saying both are correct. Okay, Rupinder, awesome. So both are correct. So when I say few children, I refer to the number of children who are playing. So very few, like, only 3, 4 are playing there. When I say little children, I mean small, little size, like maybe 5 years, 6-year-old children are playing. So what happens is, let's look at this word little. What happens when we use little? When we use it, we usually use it with uncountable, right? Little water. But when we take the same little and we use it with countable noun, what I'm doing is I'm changing the size of the countable noun. So if I say I have few cars, it means I have maybe 3, 4 cars, few cars. But if I say I have little cars, what do I mean? I have those small toy cars. Okay. No, we cannot use apostrophe. Apostrophe is a session I'd love to take, but unfortunately, we don't have the time today, Manisha. So apostrophe is something, it's used to show something belongs to someone. Okay, so that is not where you use it. We just saw an example though. We saw children's clothing, right? So that is where we use the apostrophe. The slide before, when we were doing the exercise, the store will sell or sells children's clothing. So that is belonging. Clothing belonging to children. Okay, so we do not use apostrophe. Okay, and the final rule. Okay, the final rule is, so some, all, most, they can be used with both countable or uncountable as well, even with abstract, These are the words which can be used. So you can take a screenshot of this slide. The rules are, broken down into 3 bullet points, basically. So if you want, you can just take a children's. Again, no, children's is not possible because children, the word itself means plural. If I'm talking about one, I would say child. But we cannot have childs. Instead of childs, we just say children, which means it's a plural. We don't need an extra S there. Okay. Okay. So if you have the rules now, and you've understood the rules now, let me ask you these questions. What's wrong in this one? You need a great deal of knowledge to become a doctor. What's wrong here? Knowledge. Awesome. Great. Good to see everyone responding. So there wouldn't be an S there. It's just knowledge. Great. What about the next one? I don't have many time to complete my assignment. Awesome. So we'll not use many. Instead, the word we use is I don't have much time. Okay. The third one. Third one. When I did a search on my computer, I could only find a few information. What is the correct one? I could only find a few information. Awesome, Rupinder. Little information. Okay, we just discussed. Okay, move to the next one. Okay, I still have people chatting in the question answer session. Okay. My tutor was very helpful. He gave me one very good advice about how to study. What needs to be changed here? Okay, this is an interesting one actually. So I'm just waiting for more answers to come in. Okay, okay. Okay, Kanishka has an interesting thing. She's corrected the spellings. Kanishka, I'll come back to you. Just hold on to the thought, okay? Okay, so now the noun here, the noun we are looking at here is advice. Now, can we count advice? Can we count advice? We cannot, right? So it could be he gave me some. So there are two options. It could be he gave me some advice. Or what I can do is I can change this advice into countable. Remember, we saw some words which could be countable as well as uncountable. Fire is uncountable, but I said there was a fire in the neighborhood last night. So what I can do is he gave me a piece of advice. Can you see what I did here? Okay, so these are the two options. But I cannot say one advice. That is definitely wrong. I cannot use the word one. I'll make it a piece of advice. Awesome. Let's move to the next one. So I was surprised by the number of times it took us to reach the castle. Number of times? Number of times? No, that's not the. Okay, now if you see, time can be singular or it can be plural, right? I agree. But in this case, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? Are we talking about several occasions? We're talking about one occasion, right? This is one occasion we are describing. So we saw that example where the patients need injections several times a day. So there were different events happening. But we're talking about the one time that, we went to the castle and it took us. So will it be number? So again, a very common error, especially, when we are doing a writing task one, we come across, number of people, number of, the number of students enrolling in the university has increased. Remember, that's something we deal in task one. But since time is not countable, what we'll do is, it will become, okay, it will become the amount of time. Okay, it's not number of time. No, we cannot say several. What would happen if I say several? It's like we're doing it again and again. We went to the castle several times. That is the number of occasions we're talking about. Here we're talking about the quantity of time. But since time is uncountable, got the idea? Time is uncountable. Similarly, money. What do you think of money? Is money countable or uncountable? Quickly, money. Is it countable or uncountable? Money is uncountable. Okay. The notes, the dollar, the coins, they are countable. Okay. But money is uncountable. So we say he has a lot of money, or the amount of money he spent on the wedding was insane. Okay. So when we're talking about uncountable nouns, we use the word amount. And we're talking about countable things, we use number. The number of students in this class who are participating in the chat box is amazing. Okay, that's really heartening. Okay, so moving to the sixth one. We arrived late because there were so many traffic on the road. Because there was so much. Awesome. Almost everyone got this correct. So there was so much traffic on the road. Okay. Fifth one. Okay, the fifth one we have, it wouldn't be number, it would be amount. So it isn't the number of, it's the amount of time. Okay. And the final one, I can't wait to visit the mall and do a few shopping. Some. Awesome, Shipra. Great, Anshu. So we cannot say few shopping. Instead, we'll use some shopping. We will not use this word. We'll use some shopping. And the final one. Oh, we did talk about furniture, right? So it will not be furnitures. But will that suffice? Or do I need to make more changes in the subjects? Yes, one thing you got correct is that we'll do away with this S here. We'll not use this S. Okay. Awesome, Amrita. So we'll have to change this word as well. Okay. So that would be was. Okay. But it was awesome. Great. So I can see most of you responding with the change in the verb as well. And that brings me to the next topic, which is subject-verb agreement. So if you understand, nouns are fine. We saw where to put S, where not to put an S, but then they have a very close association with the verbs also. They have an agreement with the verbs. So if I'm changing the noun, I'll have to change the verb as well. That is another part in the IELTS where students make mistake. The small words, but we mess up, okay? No, furnitures is not correct. It is singular. We'll just use the singular form because it is uncountable. Okay. But before I move to the next part, okay, yeah, I asked you to hold on to the thought of advice. Someone wrote this and I said, no, hold on to the thought. This is not correct. Someone said advice. What does this mean? So advice is basically the verb form. Okay. So yes, that's another topic for another day. But as you can see, it can get really confusing. So you need to practice a lot. How and where do you practice? So if you could register for our premium batches, okay? And they are module-wise batches and you get all the content. So, you know, even though you're just joining the speaking batch, you'll still get mock tests. You'll get access to the recordings. You'll also get access to all the material. Okay, it's a really small batch size. So like right now I'm talking to more than 100 people and I'm so sorry, even if I want to, I'm not able to, talk to everyone here. So that will have small batch sizes. You'll also get expert writing evaluations. You'll take the mock test, you will submit your writing, and they would be evaluated by the experts in here. So all the small mistakes that I'm pointing, like in the full stop, the S, the has, the have, everything, yes, the material, everything would be there. Okay. So if you register today and you use the promo code NSLive20, NS is nothing, it just stands for my name. If you use that, instead of 548 rupees, you only have to pay 438 rupees. Okay. And this is my upcoming batch, which would start next week. And this week we'll be looking at speaking and listening only. So it's a 1 week batch, but even though it's 1 week, you'll get extensive training because it'll be more than 9 hours of, one-to-one coaching. You'll get the mock tests. You'll get speaking evaluation. Another important part that students feel troubled with is like, ma'am, practice kahan kare? Like, whom do I talk to? I don't have many people in my neighborhood or my friend group where I can talk, practice my listening. So that is an awesome thing you can use. Okay. There's speaking evaluation part 2, which is again done by professionals. And there are speaking rooms where you can just log in. It's 24/7. You can log in and talk to like-minded people like you. Okay. So again, if you go to the site and you just type in this code, as you can see, and it will give you a discount. So it becomes 438. And it's not necessary because my batch is in the morning, but say you're working, you don't have time, so you can take an evening batch as well. So there are several upcoming batches, okay, at various time. You can see it's evening, even have batches in the night as well. So, 9 to 10:30. And all of these are expert trainers. So I've put in the link. You can see the link in the chat box. You just click on the link, it will take you to the page. Okay, I'll leave you with it for a quick moment. And I just mentioned about speaking rooms as well, right? So this is where you can log in, chat to like-minded people. There would be people who would be preparing for, as section 1 only, or maybe cue cards. And it's completely free. So that is free, the speaking room is completely free. The premium batch is what you pay for, and you get all the material, live recording and expert coaching. And the speaking room is completely free. There is no limit to how many rooms you join. Okay, so there's the link for speaking rooms as well. Just download the app. You'll have to use the app, which is on your mobile phone. Just download the app, IELTS Prep by Leapscholar, and start practicing today. It's completely free. Okay, and it's available 24/7. So I hope everyone has downloaded the link. At least click on the link and you can download it. And the code is right there. So just click on the code and you will get a discount. Okay. Okay, so moving to the next topic, which we just mentioned, was subject-verb agreement. Okay. It's not there on IELTS, but like, if you can use a different device, you can share with your friend or someone at home, you can do that. Okay. Okay, so coming to subject-verb agreement, we all know the basic rule, right? So when I say I'm talking about a single subject is nothing but the noun. Okay, don't get again confused or panicked about what is a subject. The subject is the noun we are talking about. So in the first sentence, we are talking about the boy. So it's a single boy. So the subject and a verb, they have an agreement between them that only one of us will use the S. Okay, so the boy plays. So the S goes to the verb. But if the S comes with the subject, so if I make it boys, then the play would be singular. Okay, so basically we all know this, right? Boy plays, boys play. Similarly, the child plays, but if I make the child plural, now to make the child plural, I do not use an S, I use children. To make a man plural, I would use men. I wouldn't say mans. Okay, so since this is a plural in itself, it has a hidden S over here. The verb will be play. I hope we're all familiar with this basic rule, right? Yes or no? Type in a yes. Are we familiar with this basic rule? Yes, everyone? Awesome. Great. So let us move to the next slide and ask you this question. Again, which one is correct? Quickly. Is it 1A or B? 1A or 1B? Okay, some say 1A, some say 1B. Again, a 50-50 divide in the class. Okay. Okay, mixed answers coming. So, I just spoke about the subject and the verb, and they have an agreement, ना? कि दोनों में से एक को S बनेगा, एक plural होगा. Okay, let's look at that. So, what is my subject here? I have two subjects. If you see, I have health and I have education, right? So health and education, what do you think the answer would be? This is the correct answer. Health and education are the top priorities. Okay? Because they are two different things. So I'll have to use an R over there. Okay, the second one. The number of students going to higher education has increased. The number of students going to higher education have increased. Which one is the correct one? Yes, again, it's the option A. What has increased? The number has increased. Okay, now that's a tricky one. So we are looking at a noun phrase. We are not looking at a noun here. We are looking at something called the noun phrase. What are we talking about? We're talking about students going for higher education. But what exactly is the noun that is in focus here? So the noun in focus here is the number. What has increased? The number has increased. Okay, and we would never say number have increased. So the correct one is 2A. Number has increased. The focus is on the number. I hope you're getting the idea, right? So again, there are confusing rules as to where to use what. I've tried to break the rules into, again, very basic rules. We'll see where do we use singular and where do we use plural. So for singular verbs, okay, what are singular verbs? Is, has, okay, plural would be are, have, or makes. So they get an S, right? Boy makes, right? The boy makes, the child needs, John eats, right? Singular. So how do we use it? Each team has 11 players. Okay. So you can see team has, because I'm treating it as one group. Everybody needs a minimum amount of sleep per night. What about uncountable ones? So research, can I count research? No. So research shows. Now, if you look at the sentence, it's a beautiful sentence. This is something we will use, we can easily use in our writing task as well, right? Research shows that people with pets are less likely to suffer from stress. Something very beautifully used in your writing or even in your speaking. So we're just talking about that small s, right? Should I say that s? Should I not say the s? There is your answer. Okay, the final one. We just spoke about number, right? The number of or the percentage of. This is what we come across in task 1 when we have a bar graph or a line graph and we need to say how the numbers are changing, the proportion is changing. How would I say that? The proportion of people living alone has increased and not have increased. Okay, so you can take a screenshot. These are some basic rules that you would follow for singular verb. Okay. I hope everyone's gotten a shot. Okay, so the next one is for plural verb form. So plural verb forms are, have. Okay. Poonam, you missed it? Okay, you can take a shot now. And coming back to the plural one. So how do we use it? Most people recycle. Okay, I'll not say recycles. I'll not use an S here. Computers, again, we're talking about more than one. So computers have become a normal part of everyday life. But what happens if we have more than one subject? We just saw, right? Japan and US. So they're a group, have similar rates of literacy. I'll not say, if I'm just talking about US, I'm only talking about US. What will I say? The US has a high rate of literacy. Okay. So I know we have very limited time. We have only few examples here, but I would recommend, like, if you could take the premium batch, that is where you'll get extensive practice over these things. Okay, the code is right there in your chat box. I hope everyone's got a screenshot. And if yes, I'm sure we'll be in a position to answer these questions. Can we? Quickly. We have the last 5 minutes here. Can I have the answers here? Quickly. What is the first one? Advances in medicine. Would it be mean or means? So it would be mean. Advances in medicine mean. Why did I write mean? Because I had the word advances. There was an S already. What about the second one? Access to clean drinking water. I need to use the to be form. Being? No. Is. Awesome, Poonam. Great. So, is. Okay. Access to clean drinking water is a basic human right. Everyone receive a welcome pack? So yes, I'll need an S there. Awesome. everyone receives a welcome pack on the first day. Both fish and meat. The form of B. Great. Awesome to see everyone's typing the right answers. Both fish and meat are. The number of seats available. I need to vary. Awesome. Great, Shipra. So it is varies. And finally, social media. Social media have changed. Great, Mandeep, Poonam, Praveen, awesome. So it is social media has. Sorry, I will write that properly. Social media has changed the way we communicate. Okay, great. So I guess you had fun. I hope you learned something. So that is it for today. I wish you, all of you, all the best for your journey in IELTS, whatever exams you're preparing for. Keep practicing. The link is there in the chat box where you could use a discount. Go to the App Store, download the app, practice speaking, and do well. Have a great weekend ahead. Thank you so much. All the very best to everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Selena. I'm really glad I could help you. Great. Bye-bye. Take care. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye-bye.